Hello everyone, welcome to the purple classes of the Res Indica IS Academy, Desh Badala Padhai Badlo. Today we'll be talking about some of the very important schemes, especially related to the fisheries sector. Okay, so this being part of the animal rearing. Today we'll be talking about the Blue Revolution, Sagar Parikrama, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, Palk based scheme, then Fishery and Aquaculture Infrastructure Development Fund. Okay, so this is all we are going to study in detail. Each and everything we will be discussing in detail. So this will be providing you with a very holistic knowledge regarding the various type of important schemes that our government is running, especially for the development of the fishery sector. Okay, so let's start with our session. Okay, so first of all, let's see what is the meaning of a blue revolution. Whenever we say blue revolution, the blue revolution definition start itself with the integrated development and management of the fisheries. Okay, because we are seeing this is a very highly potential. So our honorable prime minister has even said that we wanted to bring a new revolution into the fishery sector, that is called as a blue revolution, because blue revolution will be having all the multi-dimensional activity. They will be focusing on fishery production, fishery productivity, formation of various type of aquaculture activities, fishery resources, either inland or marine resources. Okay, so blue revolutions is activity which we are encompassing in order to develop the fishery sector of our country. Okay, so normally whenever we talk about the blue revolution, there is a certain time period is being there, like it refers to the time where we have started, like mid 1960s till present days. Okay, so during that time, aquaculture industry has been growing at an average rate of 9% a year, and which is also called as the fastest grower of the country. Okay, of the other on the world. Okay, so there is a heavy and rapid production of the fisheries and marine products are taking place. Okay, we are not talking only about the fishery sector, we are also talking about the various other things. So first of all, the blue revolution started in China. Okay, because in China this was a very ancient activity, and around two-thirds of the aquaculture productivity of the world is coming from China during that time. That means they have around they are holding around half of the market value and market share of the various type of aquaculture products. Okay, so now what is the status of fisheries sector in our country? So right now, as the India is the third largest fish producer and the second largest aquaculture producer in the world. Okay, globally, and even see, Indian fishery sector and aquaculture sector are being has a huge significance throughout the world. Okay, so Indian blue revolution has led to the major improvement in the fishery and aquaculture sector. Okay, and now this has been also been named as a sunrise sector, and it is anticipated a big increase in the Indian economy. Okay, so there is a huge paradigm shift from marine dominated to inland fishery, within the later emerging as a major contributor. Right now, the inland fisheries is emerging as a major contributor of the fish production. Around, from earlier it was 1980, from 1980 it was 36%, now it is accounting for 70% in the recent past. Okay, and in 2021 and 2022 the fish production has reached all-time high of 16.25 million metric ton, and that means and also the marine export is accounting for 57,586 crore rupees. Okay, so what is the global fisheries and aquaculture focus areas are there? So aquaculture growth. So globally, the production was in 1950 it was 2 million ton. Now it has been 50 million ton today. Okay, so there is huge fold increase that has happened in the production of aquaculture, and Asia is being one of the is the dominating player. Around 90% of the production of the aquaculture and fishery is coming from the Asia, and China is accounting for more than 70% of the production of the aquaculture products. Now regarding the employment scenario, this sector employ around 880 million people worldwide. okay, 880 millions. And like there are whole lot of jobs are there, like salmon farming are there, pond farming in Thailand. So every particular things like fishery farming, then salmon farming in Norway, then prawn farming in Thailand. So every places, every part of the world has defined their own speciality in what thing they wanted to grow. Then employment growth in the fishery has already outpaced both global population growth and traditional agriculture growth. Okay, then now regarding the nutritional contribution, so this fishery and aquaculture is supplying over 15% of the annual animal protein intake and 4.3 billion people, for the 4.3 billion people. So 15% of the animal protein is coming from the fishery for 4.3 billion people. Okay, so that is why this industry is very important for, as per the macro and micronutrition and the essential lipids which they are providing for the health of the well-being. Okay, and regarding the trade facility, fish and seafood are one of the most traded food commodity throughout globally, and developing countries are sourcing around 53% of this trade. So some of the very important species which are being traded in the aquaculture are crabs, then oysters, salmon, trout, shrimps, and prawns, which are being traded globally throughout the world. Okay, now blue revolution in India. So launch time is, so the whole just this concept of blue revolution was launched during the 7th 5-year plan. So under the 7th 5-year plan, which started from 1985 to 1990s, during this period, the launch of the Blue Revolution took place. And during the 8th plan, that is from 1992 to 1997, because 1991 and 1992, there was an annual plan, because there was too much chaos that is happening in the government. And during that time, Rajiv Gandhi death also happened during that time. So 8th plan started from 1992. So again, in this plan, there was an intensive marine fishery program development start taking place. Even multinational companies have even started collaborating with the various type of government initiatives. So government has started making like fish farmer development agency that is sponsored by the government to support fish farmer, and there is an intensive marine fishery program which is launched to mainly to intensify marine fishing activities with MNC collaboration. So this is what exactly the government has launched during that time. And during that time only, there is an infrastructure development has also took place. Important fishing harbors like Tuticorin, Porbandar, Vishakhapatnam, Kochi, Port Blair have all taken place for the development of the fisheries, because fishing harbors are being developed at these places, and also looking at the various places. So every part of the country which is having a 7,500 kilometers of the coastline is there. So every part and east and western side of our country have taken part in this whole process. And again, then there is a research and development. There are a lot of research center that has been set up to increase the fish production and to do research in the fish in order to improve the species. Also, the special focus has been given on increasing the species improvement. Okay, now main focus of the Blue Revolution, the main objective of the Blue Revolution is to achieve economic prosperity of the fishermen, of the fishers and the fish farmer. Okay, so this can only be done when we are doing the fishing in a sustainable manner and also keeping biodiversity and environmental concerns at stake. Okay, so the main objective is to increase the overall fish production, that is also responsible, sustainable manner and economic prosperity. Then again, the second, this is the first one. This is the second one, to modernize the fisheries with a special focus and uses of new technologies. Okay, more and more new technologies for better sustainable fishing. Sustainable fishing. Then to ensure food and nutritional security, because they will be providing good amount of protein and fats and various other things. And again, this will be helping in generating employment, and export earning will be there, because a lot of export earning will be coming. Then, and also it will further enhance and boost the inclusive development and also empower the fishers and aquaculture farmers. So this is what is the main objective of the Blue Revolution. Okay, so now So the central sponsored schemes on Blue Revolution, there is a integrated development and management of the fisheries, and central government has outlaid rupees 3000 crore for 5 years. So there are various components under which government is wanted to invest in these areas. So these are the components like National Fishery Development Board and its activities, development of inland fishery and aquaculture, development of marine fishery infrastructure post harvest operation, is strengthening of the database and geographical information system for fishery sector, institutional arrangement for fishery sector, monitoring, control and surveillance and other need based intervention, and national scheme for welfare of fishery. So these are the places where government has launched integrated development and management of the fisheries, and 3000 crore rupees for 5 years has been sanctioned specially for these activities. Okay, now these are some of the achievement that has been taken during 2014-15 to 2017 and 18. So central assistance of rupees 1,84,695 crore has been released especially for the fisheries sector. Okay, 29,127.73 hectares of the area comes under the aquaculture. 89 numbers of landing centers, 199 numbers of recirculatory agriculture system has been approved. Then 7,636 number of cages and pens and reservoir in the open water body has been approved. 389 number of fish and prawn hatcheries are being approved. 7,441 traditional craft has been motorized. 12,262 number of safety kits has been given to the fishermen at the sea. Assistance is being provided to 544 number of tradition and artisan fishermen, and 4 fishing harbor and fishing landing centers have been sanctioned. Then around 318 post harvest infrastructure facility, that is ice plant, cold storage, has been sanctioned. 17,499 unit of fish transport facility like refrigerator, insulated truck, auto rickshaw, motorcycle, bicycle with ice box has been sanctioned. Then 6,812 unit of fish market and fish mobile market has been sanctioned. Then approved construction of 12,430 fishermen houses has also been approved. Then insurance cover of 46.8 lakh fish farmer has been given annually. Financial assistance to 2.43 lakh fishermen has been given under saving cum relief component during the fishermen lean and ban periods are there. Okay, during that there is a financial assistance when they cannot go to fishing, or there is a very down season is going on, then they have been provided with certain kind of financial assistance. Then skill training is being provided to 63,290 fish farmer and other stakeholders. So this is what all being provided under the Blue Revolution. Now, what is the development of the Indian fishery sector? So if we wanted to find out like what is the role of Indian fishery, so Fishery and Fishery Development Agency have done a very significant role in the development of the aquaculture of India, because they are utilizing a lot of innovative technologies for fish breeding, fish rearing, fish marketing and fish export. So from the last 50 years, earlier 60,000 tons of the fish production was there, and now it has been surged to 4.7 million tons, and out of that 1.6 million ton is coming from the freshwater aquaculture. Okay, so there is a impressive growth of 14 point, close to 15% growth we call it as, okay, over the last decade that is happening, and even it has been surpassed the global average of 7.5%. So India's fisheries have become the largest agriculture export at a rate of 6.6 to 10% in the last 5 years, and as compared to the farm sector of 2.5% growth rate. Okay, so fishery sector is the largest agriculture export sector in our country. Okay, and then the fisheries remains the crucial source of livelihood in various communities. Okay, because India is the world's second largest fish producer and export around 47,000 crore rupees of export is going on, and USA is the top market of the seafood, right? Around 26.46% export is going. After that, it is followed by Southeast Asian countries and then European Union nations. So this is what about the Indian fishery sector. Okay, so the fisheries and aquaculture production is contributing 1% of the GDP. They're contributing 1% of the GDP of the country and over 5% of the agriculture GDP of our country. But there are certain unutilized potential is also there. That means we have a lot of potential. We have a long coastline and we have a better infrastructure is there, but there is unutilized potential is there because we are not we are only able to exploit only a fraction of our aquaculture production, only a fraction of our aquaculture production. So we are only utilizing 40% of the available ponds, tanks and water bodies aquaculture, and 15% of the total potential of the brackish water. That means there is a whole lot of potential is being there. If we wanted to utilize, we can further boost our productivity in the fisheries and aquaculture to manifolds. Okay, so this is what we call it as unutilized potential. So what are the recent steps taken by the government? So again, government came up with a new blue revolution that is called Blue Revolution 2.0, or we call it as Neel Kranti mission. So the focus of this Blue Revolution 2.0 is on the development and management of the fishery. Okay, so this will be helping in inland fisheries, aquaculture, marine fishery and deep sea fishing. Okay, mariculture and all the activities taken by the National Fishery Development Board, that we call it as NFDB. Okay, so we have a National Fishery Development Board. It got established in 2006. It is an autonomous organization which takes their decision on its own, and under the Department of Fisheries, under Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, focus is always on fish production and productivity in the country, and especially to coordinate between the fishery development and how we can overhaul this whole fishery development in a holistic manner. Okay, now this board works under the Ministry of Fisheries and Animal Husbandry and Dairy. Now this is being part of Ministry of Fishery, Animal Husbandry and Dairy. Now we are moving towards the next topic, that is called Sagar Parikrama. It is a very, very important and a evolutionary journey that government has started. The main purpose is that because we know that we have a huge coastline is there, coastal belts are there, so the government has started a very innovative approach that see here like this. If we have this type of a coastline is there, so what will happen is that the government officers, ministers will be traveling around the coastal areas. Okay, and they will be along their routes, they will be solving the issues of the fishermen and the other stakeholder, helping them in economic upliftment and various government. They will be explaining them regarding various government schemes like Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, Kisan Credit Card, etc., etc. Okay, so the main purpose of this journey is like to bridge a gap between the expectation of the fisher communities, developing of the fishing villages and upgradation of the infrastructure, so that everybody, the people who are involved in this fishing activity and those who are the policy maker and various type of schemes provider, they should be working all in together, and they should they should understand each other's problem all together. Okay, so this is the concept of Sagar Parikrama. Maybe they will be like, if here we have a Maharashtra, okay, so they will start from here village and they will move towards the coastal area of the Maharashtra and solving the problem of the fishermen and everything, and also explaining them regarding the various schemes and all the things to the people of coastal areas, right? So there are a lot of phases of the Sagar Parikrama is over, and recently the 10th phase was over. So we have not taken all the phases, we have discussed till 4 phases, and will be discussing the 10th phase. So the phase 1 started 3 locations: Gujarat, Mandavi, Oka, Dwarka and Porbandar, right? Then phase 2 has covered 7 places: Mangrol, Veerawal, Diu, Jafrabad, Surat, Daman and Valsad. Phase 3 was a coastal area in northern Maharashtra including Satpati, Vasai, Versova, New Ferry, Varfa, then Sasoon Dock in Mumbai. All these were part of it. Then phase number 4 was there where Udupi, Dakshin Kannada, district of Kannada were covering. Then Phase 5 will be of Sagar Parikrama, will be covering 6 locations: Raigad, Ratnagiri, Sindhudurga district of Maharashtra, Vasco, then Morungao and Canacona in Goa. Okay, especially focusing on Maharashtra and Goa coastal belt. Okay, so this is how these phases will be allotted, and these phases are already over. Okay, so Maharashtra is having the extensive coastline of 720 kilometers. Okay, so this has a very immense untapped potential in the fishery sector. So state ranked 7th in the fish production in the country, and marine fishery accounting for 82% and inland is 18%. And Goa is having a coastline of 104 kilometer, also playing a very important role in the marine fishery and livelihood. Okay, so now we will be discussing regarding the 10th phase of the Sagar Parikrama. Okay, that has been started on 13th of October, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was 13th October 2023. Okay, 2023. So Sagar Parikrama 10th phase, where Union Minister will be traveling on boarding the Coast Guard ship from Chennai, and they will be entering the coastal area of Andhra Pradesh. You know, Andhra Pradesh is the long coastline is there. So Union Minister is Sri Purushottam Rupala. They will be interacting with the fishermen. They will be knowing their issues, providing them with suggestions. Okay, they will be meeting and they will be explaining a lot of things about the government schemes and everything. They will be even distributing the certificates. They will be also sanctioning various type of beneficiary programs under Pradhan Mantri Matsya Yojana, Kisan Credit Card, Fisheries Aquaculture Development Fund. Okay, so under the phase 10 of the Sagar Parikrama, Department of Fishery, Government Andhra Pradesh, Department of Fishery, Government of India, National Fishery Development Board, Indian Coast Guard, Fishery Survey of India, National Institute of Fishery, Post-Harvest Ecology Training, Center Institute of Fisheries, Engineering and Training will be participating in this whole process, and they will be interacting with the people of the Andhra Pradesh, and they will be also solving whatever the type of problem they are having, because all the type of officers and everybody will be traveling with them. Okay, so Andhra Pradesh is having 972 kilometer long coastline, having a marine, brackish water and inland fishery resources are there. Okay, so for the marine fishes, the state stood at 41.27 lakh ton during 21 and 22. Okay, so it is providing livelihood to 10 lakh people, and around 1689 mechanized boats are there. So, and after that, they are having around 22,257 traditional fishing craft are there, and which are actively engaged with fishing, and 14,96,688 marine fisher folks, all with the Andhra Pradesh. So this is what this 10th Sagar Parikrama will be entailing. Okay, so everybody knows that the fishery is one of the major contributor over that area, and government has launched this whole program in order to develop, in order to help the fishermen along the coastal area, especially focusing and bringing all the officers, all the ministers all together, so that they can listen to the problems of the people, and they can provide them with various type of initiative. They can provide information regarding various type of schemes, like Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, Kisan Credit Card, then what they can do for value addition, how they can improve the export, socio-economic life, sustainable development of the fishing practices. Okay, so this is all being part of the sustainable development goals achievement. Okay, and the main focus will be Atmanirbhar Bharat achievement. Okay, so 9 phases of the Sagar Parikrama has already been completed. So around 4,115 kilometer, and 9 coastal states like Gujarat, Daman, Diu, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, Pondicherry, Tamil Nadu and Andaman Nicobar has already been there, and they have even solved various problems. They have even uplifted various fishermen with the help of various programs and everything. This is the 10th one, which is going to be held in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so this is going to be held in Andhra Pradesh, which has already been going to be over. So here you can see this is the place here. This is a coastal area, Gujarat, Daman and Diu, Then here we have Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Lakshadweep, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, West Bengal. These are all coastal areas of our country. Okay, so this all being part of the Sagar Parikrama, and from this part it is all over, and we are is the 10th one. The 10th Sagar Parikrama will be focusing on this Andhra Pradesh and helping the farmers of the Andhra Pradesh over here. Okay, so what is the current challenges that Indian fishery sector is playing with? Okay, so the first challenges is illegal, unreported and unregulated IW fishing. Okay, because there are overfishing that are happening, which because of that it is threatening the sustainability of the fisheries. Okay, so these issues involve a lot of practices like fishing without necessary license, fishing using prohibited gears. Okay, you are utilizing some kind of instrument which is not being allowed. Okay, and you are exceeding your catch limit. Okay, like in India we operate with so many fishermen operate without proper license, and they are not having proper nets, and like zero mesh nets are there, and they are also capturing the juvenile fishes, and because of that it totally disrupt the fish population cycle. Okay, so there is a need to proper monitor and proper surveillance has to be done in order to properly help these people. Now, inadequate infrastructure and technology, so there is a outdated vessels and gears are there. Some fishermen are utilizing all the old and outdated gears. Okay, and they are not having proper facility, insufficient facility they are having, they are not utilizing it proper in a proper efficient way. If you go by the example, like there are many fishing boats in Kerala and Tamil Nadu are there which are very old, and they are lacking the modern equipments, and which is leading to inefficient operation and doing heavy post harvest losses. Okay, because they are not having proper cold storage facilities and don't have proper transportation facility. So there is an absence of modern fishing technologies, and they are not even having proper GPS navigation tool, and this is all being not done in a proper way. Then climate change and environmental degradation, so there are a lot of issues which are because there is a rising sea temperature that is happening, ocean acidification news are coming, then altered oceans currents are happening. So because of that, the distribution of the fish throughout the sea and the ocean, the productivity of the at the sea at particular location, because earlier where the productivity was high, now the productivity has gone down. There are a lot of disease, and the sea creatures are becoming more and more vulnerable. So there is an example of Bay of Bengal where is a led to the shift in the distribution of fish species, because wherever there was a traditional fishing ground was there, now that fishing ground has been changed. Okay, now that fishing ground has been changed, and now that has been shifted at some other place. So pollution from coastal development and habitat destruction has even degraded the marine ecosystem, and which is all have affected the biodiversity. Okay, now socio-economic issues, there are a lot of socio-economic issues are there, because Indian fishermen sector predominantly are having small scale artisanal fishers. Okay, so they faces a lot of issues like low incomes they are having, they have a limited access to the credit, they have a very limited access to the insurance facility, and they have a inadequate security measures are there. So like if we go by the state of Odisha and West Bengal, fishermen are struggling to secure even a proper loan to upgrade their equipments, because they are not having proper collaterals and everything, and they are not even knowing what type of government schemes are running for them, and nobody is there. So that is why Sagar Parikrama is going on to make them understand like what is going on for yourself and all these things. Okay, even women's like there are a lot of women's are being also being part of, if you go there you can find a lot of women's are also being part of engage in the business, but their work is little bit less profitable, and post harvest activities are also very less profitable, and because of that they are having a very big issue in the proper decision making power, what to do and what not to do. Then market access and value chain creation, so we have a lot of substantial fish production in our country is there. Both domestic and international market remains a very huge challenges. Poor post harvest handling issues and limited value addition, inadequate market linkages, all are creating a reduction in the profitability of the fisher. Like if we take the example of the people from the Andhra Pradesh, there it is one of the major fishing producing state, and the 10th Sagar Parikrama is going to happen over here. They are having lack of inadequate cold storage facilities, they have a very lack of market infrastructure, they have lack of post harvest losses, they have a lower market prices and everything. So because of that lack of value added products, so there is a very big issue of linkages with the market and various other things. So this is again a very big issue over there. Okay, now we are moving towards the next topic of today. So now let's move into one of the very flagship scheme that has been run by the government of India for the development of the fishery, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, PMMSY. Okay, so before starting, let's understand what is the meaning of maritime zone first. Okay, I hope everybody understood the meaning of UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on Law of the Seas, 1982, and India has ratified it on 1995. Okay, so regarding the sea and its resource and its exploitation from the seabed, so there has been certain law that has been decided. So there are 3 zones are being there, right? Internal waters, territorial seas, and exclusive economic zone, that we call it as EEZ. Okay, so what is inland waters? So inland water is on the landward side of a baseline. That means here nearby gulfs are there, small bays are there. Okay, so here if you see here, so if we have this land is there, and this is going to be part of the inland water, and here we have a sea water is there. Okay, so this is being part of the inland waters. Then we have territorial sea. Now this territorial sea has been extended outward up to 12 nautical mile from the baseline coastal nation, and coastal nation enjoy full sovereignty over the airspace, sea, seabed and subsoil. That means that has been called as the area of that country, of that coastal country only. Okay, so and all living and non-living resources, whatever they are in there, so up to 12 nautical miles the country enjoys sovereignty over there. Okay, so here you can see this is the territorial sea. Okay, so this is being treated as a part or the country's part of that area. That means if India is there and India's territorial water is still here, so this is going to be the part of India territory only. Okay, that is why it is called territorial sea. Okay, now we have a exclusive economic zone. Okay, so this extend outward to 200 nautical miles from the baseline. Okay, so the coastal nation, and coastal nation have a sovereign rights for exploitation, exploration, conservation of all the natural resources whatever are there. So here, now from the baseline till 200 nautical miles. Okay, from baseline till here we have a exclusive economic zone of 200 nautical miles. Okay, so here there are a lot of resources are there. Okay, resources like we can find oil here, we can find various type of polymetallic nodules. Okay, polymetallic nodules and various other resources are there. So over these resources there is an exclusive right of that nation whose exclusive economic zone is that. You know Bombay High? Bombay High is in the exclusive economic zone of India. Okay, this is within the 200 nautical mile area. Okay, so this is all about the maritime zones. Okay, we know that fisheries is a state subject. Okay, so fishing in the internal waters and territorial seas comes within the purview of the state government. Okay, and other activities in the territorial seas, activities including fishing beyond the territorial seas and up to a limit of exclusive economic zone, comes in the union lit. Okay, so up to territorial sea, it is the state government rule that can be work over there, and after that it is the union government is going to take care of it. Okay, so this is all about our territorial sea and how and where we can exploit the resources like that. Okay, so let me tell you one thing, like if any ship is there and if ship is going on into this area, exclusive economic zone, they have a right to pass. Okay, they do not have to take any permission from any country. But if they are entering into the territorial sea of any country, then because since this is a sovereign area of that country, they need permission to enter to this area. Okay, so this is regarding the territorial and this is the maritime zone. So what is this Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana? So this scheme was launched in 2020 by the Department of Fishery, Ministry of Fishery, Animal Husbandry and Dairying. The focus is on how we can ecologically provide healthy, economically viable, socially inclusive development of the fishery sector of India. Now, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana is specially focusing on making robust fishery management framework, focuses on to address the various critical gaps in value chain, in infrastructure, in modernization, post-harvest storages, management and quality control. All these places for Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana especially focusing on overhauling of the fisheries development in the country. Okay, so the focus is that they wanted to enhance the fish production to 220 lakh metric ton by 24-25 and rupees 20,000 crore investment in the next 5 years, doubling the fishers and fish farmer income and generate employment, and to register 3,477 Sagar Mitra coastal fisher villages. Okay, so this is what the target that has been set up. Okay, so under that they are taking 20,000 crore rupees for Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana for proper integrated sustainable development, 11,000 especially focusing on activities of marine, inland fisheries and aquaculture, 9,000 crore for infrastructure development, fishing harbors, cold chain and market, and the key activities are like cage culture, seaweed farming, ornamental fishery, new fishing vessel, traceability, lab network, all these things. So they have even set out like how much money will be utilized at which all places. Okay, so these are the main aim and objective of the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. So the main objective is harnessing of fisheries potential, enhancing fish productivity and production, modernization of the value chain post harvest and quality improvement, doubling the fish and farmer income, agriculture gross value addition, social, physical and economic security, robust fishery management and regulatory framework. Okay, so Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana is a very important umbrella scheme for two separate components. One component is central sector component, another one is centrally sponsored component. In the central sector component, 100% funding will be given by the central government. In the central sponsored, a part of the funding and the rest of the funding will be given by the state government. Okay, so centrally sponsored component is further segregated into non-beneficiary oriented and then beneficiary oriented activities under three categories, like the thing which are enhancement of the production and productivity, then infrastructure and post harvest, and fisheries management and regulatory activities. Okay, so this is about 20,050 crore rupees, comprising central share will be providing 9,407 crore and the state share will be 4,880 crore and the beneficiary contribution will be 5,763 crore. Okay, so the time period that has been taken for this whole is for the 5 year from 2021 to 2024 and 2025. Okay, so why there is a need for PM Matsya Sampada Yojana? First of all, the main focus is role of fisheries and aquaculture, because they are very very important, very very vital for food, nutrition, employment and income generation of our country. And around 16 million people in our country are directly and even more indirectly are connected through the value chain of this. So this is very very important for the vital for food and nutrition and employment. This is one need. Then the second one is economic contribution. So fishery sector is accounting for 1.24% of the gross value addition, which is 7.28% of the agriculture gross value addition in 2018 and 19. So that is why it is taking a very very important role in economic growth. Okay, now resource potential. So India is having abundant marine fishery resources like around 4.41 million tons, and India has excessive coastline of 8,118 kilometer coastline. So we can utilize these advanced potential coastline for better efficiency and boosting the fish production. Then again, yeah, blue revolution is also being part of it here. The government has initiated Blue Revolution for 5 years, for 2015 and 20, which is focusing on comprehensive integrated development of the fishermen, where we are trying to increase the productivity from 10.26 million metric ton and 2.3 ton per hectare in 2015 to 13.75 million metric ton and 3.3 ton per hectare in financial year. So this is what increase that we are trying to do. And then export earning. Okay, you just need to remember these point like 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. You just remember these point and you need to elaborate that during your exam point of view. Okay, now export earning, like it is a prominent, India is a prominent seafood exporter. Okay, that is earning around 465.89 billion rupees, which is counting for $6.73 billion. Okay, so around 48,000 crore rupees in financial year. So brackish water aquaculture development is playing a very very significant role in boosting the export, accounting around 70 to 75% of the total fishery export in our country. Then economic growth and opportunities. So in this fishery sector, there's a lot of economic growth is happening in all the field, whether infrastructure, whether production, whether productivity, whether cold storage, whether transportation, whatever it is. Okay, so there are a lot of opportunities area are there which government is trying to harness. Okay, now what is the target that has been taken under Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana? So under the target fish production and productivity, the target that they have taken is like they wanted to increase the fish production to 22 million metric ton, or we call it as 22 MMT. Okay, by 24-25. Right now it is 13.78 for 2018 and 19, 13.75. That is what the target is there. And they wanted to enhance the productivity per hectare. Like earlier it is 3 ton per hectare, 3 ton per hectare. Now they wanted it to increase to 5 ton per hectare. Okay, so this is what is the productivity that they wanted, and they wanted to augment the domestic fish consumption from earlier 5 kg to 12 kg per capita. This is what the consumption they wanted to increase. So this will boost the nutrition and energy level of the people. Okay, now what is the economic value addition that we are focusing on? So we need to increase the agriculture gross value addition to about 9% by 24-25. Right now for 2018-19 it is 7.28%, and we wanted to do double the export earning to rupees 1 lakh crore. Right now it is around 48,000 crore. Okay, and by 2024 like 46,000 or 48,000 crore. Okay, sorry. So we wanted it to increase it to 1 lakh crore. That is close to double the export earning that we wanted to achieve from that. And we also wanted to help and facilitate the private sector investment, and we also wanted to boost the entrepreneurship activities in the fisheries sector. And at the same time, we need to reduce the post harvest losses, because most the saving we do in the post harvest loss, the same thing will be the earning for us. Okay, so we earlier, right now there is 20 to 25% post harvest losses happening, and we wanted to make it to come down to 10%. Okay, so that means extra 10 to 15% will be saving, and then that will be utilized for earning revenues, right? So this is again the economic value addition that will be done over there. Now, we also wanted to enhance the income and employment generation. Okay, so at least we are expecting that we will be generating around 55 lakh direct and indirect employment opportunity along the value chain. And also we wanted to double the income of the fishermen and fisher farmer. You know, government has come up with a motto that we wanted to double the income of the farmer, whether it is fisherman, whether it is a normal agriculture farmer, or whatever it is. So in this case, we wanted to generate around 55 lakh direct and indirect jobs, and also to double the incomes of the fishermen. Okay, so this is the funding patterns of the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. So under the funding pattern of the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, so we have already told you that there is a central sector scheme where 100% funding will be coming from the central government. Then there is a centrally sponsored funding is there, where a part of the funding will be coming from the central government. So under the centrally sponsored scheme, we have a non-beneficiary oriented subcomponent, and we have a beneficiary oriented subcomponent is there. Okay, so first of all, we will be seeing what is the meaning of central sector scheme, where 100% funding will be given by the central government. Okay, so here central government will fully fund the entire project unit cost, 100% central funding. Okay, so for direct beneficiary oriented activity by central government, central assistance is up to 40% for the general category and 60% for SC/ST for direct beneficiary. Then central sponsored scheme for non-beneficiary oriented, northeastern area 90% central share, 10% state share, and for the other it is 60:40, and for union territory, yeah, it is 100%. And for the beneficiary oriented general category, 40% of the project unit cost, and for SC/ST it is 60% of the project unit cost, and for the northeast is 90:10, and for other state is 60:40, and for union territory it is 100%. So this is the funding pattern of the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Okay, so the end implementation agencies who are going to be the part of the implementation is the so the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana would be implemented by the following agency. One is central government and its entity, including National Fishery Development Board. National Fishery Development Board will be there, and then state government and union territory government and their entities will be there. Then State Fishery Development Board, State Fishery Development Board will be there, and there are other end implementation agency that will be decided by the Department of Fisheries. So this is the main role is National Fishery Development Board and State Fishery Development Board is there. So who are the beneficiary of the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana? Okay, so the intended beneficiaries are fish farmers, fish worker, fish vendors, fish development corporations, self-help group, joint liability group and fishery sector, fisheries cooperatives, fisheries federation, entrepreneurship and private firms, fish farming producer organization company, SC/ST woman differently abled person, state government UT and their entities including State Fishery Development Board, central government and its entities. So these are the beneficiary of the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Now, what is the mode of implementation of the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana? So there is a hierarchy is there through which this whole process will be used. Like there is a institutional framework at the central government level. Okay, so there will be a central apex committee will be there. So this apex committee will be headed by the Secretary, Department of Fishery. Okay, so he or she will be responsible for overall Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana implementation, monitoring and review. Okay, then there will be a project appraisal committee will be there, which will be led by the chief executive of the National Fishery Development Board right? And there will be appraisal and recommendation by the centrally sponsored scheme projects and by the state. Okay, then there will be one more unit will be there, that is called project monitoring and evaluation unit. Okay, so this project monitoring and evaluation unit will be overseeing Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana scheme through domain experts. Okay, and it will monitor project by the National Fishery Development Board under central sector scheme component, and there will be a project monitoring unit that will be established by the National Fishery Development Board that will be doing a regular monitoring projects and activities. So this is how this whole hierarchy has been decided with proper verification, evaluation and all the processes. Okay, now institutional framework at state level and unitary. So this is at the central level. Okay, so this is at the 1 minute. Yeah, this is at the central level. Now this is at the state and the union territory. So at the state level, there is a point we have taken, district level committee has been taken. Okay, under district level committee, we have taken the district collector and deputy commissioner as the head of this committee. Okay, so they will be preparing the annual district fisheries plan and they will be monitoring Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana at district level. Then there will be a state level approval and monitoring committee will be there, that will be called as SLAMC. This will be led by the senior most secretary in charge of the state department. Okay, and they will be approving state, union territory fishery annual plan and Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana project. Okay, so they will all be responsible for overall Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana implementation and monitoring. So this is at the state level and the district level, right? Now what is the progress that has been done by the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana? So what is the progress of the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana? So recently, till date, the project worth rupees 14,654 crore has been approved for 22-23 up to 23, and around 73% of the investment has been already utilized under this whole process against the outlay of 9,407. The central share of rupees 6,140 has been already approved. Okay, we have heard that around 9,407 crore rupees will be given by the central government, rest by the beneficiary and by the state government. Okay, and even there is a growth of 14.3% from 2019 to 2022. Fish production has increased by 141.64 lakh ton to 161.87 lakh ton in 21-22. This is the progress that we have seen in the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. So what are the strength in the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana? So it is setting a very ambitious target. Okay, so we wanted to double the fish production by 25%, and by 60 lakh jobs we need to create in the fishery sector by 24-25. This is a strength. Then comprehensive approach, like it is covering infrastructure development, it is covering capacity building, it is also developing marketing linkages and everything. Then public private partnership is also getting encouraged over here, and they are also utilizing and leveraging technologies and resources from various type of private sector. Then proper technological adoption is happening, so the scheme is promoting the use of technologies and also improving efficiencies, and there is a lot of international collaborations that is also happening for the best practices to be utilized, for the best technologies to be utilized in these whole areas. Now what are the weaknesses that are there in this whole process? So some of the weaknesses which are being part of and which is plaguing the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana is inadequate infrastructure. Like what are the things like cold storage facilities are not up to the mark, landing centers or centers where the fishes are being unloaded is not being up to mark, and there is a lot of around 25% of the losses are happening near the coast areas. Then it is hindering the fish production and marketing. Then after that, we have a low productivity of the fish farm is there, particularly in aquaculture sector, which is again a major challenges. So there is a need to increase the productivity. Okay, Then overfishing is one of the things, because overfishing is destroying some of the various very important fishing grounds of the world. Okay, so there is a need to prevent overfishing. So fishing has to be done up to for a certain level, and we have to make sure that the fishing should work in such a way that there is no threat to the fish stock. Okay, so let the fish recreate themselves like that. So overfishing is yet another weakness over there. Then lot of post harvest losses, like 20 to 25% post harvest losses are happening due to lack of proper storage facility and transportation facility. Then there is a lack of awareness about the scheme, which people don't know that government is running Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, and people don't know, and they are not able to properly utilize this scheme properly. Okay, and issue is already going on. There are a lot of climate changes issues are already there. We have known that climate changes and sea surface temperature is getting increased, so it is hurting the fishing grounds, it is hurting the coral reefs, and because of that the corals are getting dies. So this is one of the major threat, and which is leading to the fish population. Even the habitat is also changing at the various places. Then because of the rises in the temperature, and it is also causing a lot of disease outbreak, which is again providing a lot of economic losses under this fisheries sector. Then import competition, so there is a lot of competition from various countries like China, Indonesia, Thailand, and various other places. From the imported fish products are there, so there is a need to provide much more support to the infrastructure, cold storage chain, in order to boost up our own work. Then trade barriers are there, so trade barriers can restrict Indian export of fish products. Then insurance cost, the high cost of crop insurance can be the major challenge for the farmers. This is again being part of the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. So what exactly is the opportunities we are expecting, and what we are expecting to achieve in this whole area? So for the opportunities, the expanding aquaculture throughout the world, there is a potential for the development of the aquaculture everywhere. This sector is developing, and Indian is already being part of the world, in the world top 5 countries, which is being part of expanding aquaculture, and it is also developing, and this is also being providing a very important schemes, and also this is also providing a lot of funding in various other places. So this is what is the main potential which is playing a major role in meeting India's growing fishing needs. Then promoting value addition, so here we need to promote a value addition product. Like we should not go for raw selling. Okay, we should not go for raw selling. We should also we should also make part with the properly utilization of the way we wanted to do is that we should do the proper value addition. Okay, value addition, like converting them into various other products, and then these products can be utilized properly, and they can be sold at the various international markets. Okay, so value addition is very important by converting the raw product into a value added product, which will be sold at a higher rates into the international market. Then exporting of the fish is because India is being a major exporter of the fish, and we wanted to keep that tag with all of us. Then collaborating with various research institutions, like how we can further utilize various type of innovative technologies, and how we can practice, and how we can improve the safety, how we can improve the production, how we can improve the sustainability, and how we can increase the quality of the fish rearing, and everything that has to be also done. Then here we have a huge scope of employment. Okay, here we have a huge scope of employment where we can employ the women, youths, everybody in the fishery sector, and we'll be able to properly create better employment, and we will be able to boost the economic growth of these places. Okay, so this is regarding Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Now we are moving towards the next topic. The next topic states that it is regarding the Palk Bay scheme. So this is a certain specific sector scheme. So this scheme means diversification of the trawl fishing boat from Palk Strait into the deep sea fishing boat. That means we wanted to remove the trawl fishing boats and from the Palk Strait. Everybody knows, near Sri Lanka Indian border. Okay, and we wanted to move them to the deep sea fishing boats. So this scheme was launched in 2017 as a centrally sector sponsored scheme. So this scheme is also being launched as a part of a Blue Revolution scheme only. Okay, so the main focus area is that to promote fishing and various activities for doubling their farmer income. Okay, but actually this scheme is Tamil Nadu specific scheme, very specific to Tamil Nadu, and the government is going to provide around 2,000 vessels in 3 years to the fishermen of the state and motivating them to abandon the bottom trawling. Okay, so the main purpose is this. Okay, main purpose of this Palk Bay scheme is to provide the fishermen with 2,000 vessels in 3 years so that they can abandon the bottom trawling. So bottom trawling is a type of a fishing practice. Okay, because what is the issue with the bottom trawling is that bottom trawling is a ecologically destructive practice. Okay, here it involves the trawlers. They drag the weight, they drag the nets along the sea floor, and this causes great disruption in the aquatic sea floor, aquatic life, aquatic habitat and everything. Okay, so first of all, let's see what is the issue with the bottom trawling. So bottom trawling is an ecological disruptive practice. Okay, so they wait, so it captures, so what happens when we do the bottom trawling? It captures the juvenile fishes. Okay, so it exhausts the ocean resources, it exhausts the marine conservation plans. Okay, so this practice was started by Tamil Nadu fishermen in Palk Bay, and this is actively pursued at a peak at a civil war in Sri Lanka. Okay, so they were utilizing this bottom trawling. So let's see what is this bottom trawling. So you can see here, this is a Palk Bay. This area is Palk Bay, okay, near the Sri Lanka and India water. Palk Strait is there. So here the fishermen normally follow this bottom trawling. You can see here, this is what is called bottom trawling. They just send the net to the sea floor and then they drag this heavyweight net. Okay, then they drag this heavyweight net onto the sea floor. So they catch the juvenile small fishes, then they destruct the habitat, they destruct the sea floor ecosystem. Okay, so that is why government wanted these fishermen to go into the deep sea fishing, so that they should not drag these things onto the sea floor and they catch the thing from the sea surface itself. Okay, otherwise this whole ecosystem gets damaged. Okay, so what is deep sea fishing? So the solution to the bottom trawling is transition from trawling to deep sea fishing. That means the activity of catching the fishing in the deep part of the sea and ocean, that is called deep sea fishing, though where you will not send your net to the surface, you will be just lying onto some part onto the ocean only, and then you will catch the things from there. Okay, so the boats are designed in such a way that fishermen get access to the deeper part of the ocean and fish species. Okay, so this is practiced throughout worldwide coastal areas. So this deep sea fishing do not cause any kind of ecological damage. Okay, normally the depth of the water should be at least 30 meters to consider deep sea fishing. Means at least 30-meter water deep should be there, then only proper deep sea fishing can happen over there. Okay, so now what there is another objective of the scheme is reducing the fishing pressure around the international maritime boundary line. Okay, so this is yet another second objective of the park-based scheme is that to reduce the fishing pressure along the international maritime boundary line, so that Tamil Nadu fishermen do not cross the IMBL of the Sri Lankan waters. Okay, so Indian fishermen should remain in the Indian waters and Sri Lankan fishermen should remain in the Sri Lankan water, because during the civil war and during this type of war, during that time, most of the fishermen are being caught by the army of Sri Lanka. Indian army caught the fishermen of the Sri Lanka. Okay, so this keeps on happening. Now, in order to prevent all this type of activity, this scheme has been launched. So the funding pattern of the scheme is central government will provide 50%, state government will provide 20%, institutional funding will come 10%, and beneficiaries will be provided have to provide 80%. Okay, so the scheme is limited to a vessel costing rupees 80 lakhs. Okay, at least 80 lakh rupees is and this scheme is not the part of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. This is a totally separate scheme. Okay, so this is about the park-based scheme, and here you can see like how they are damaging. Like here, they just put the net onto the sea floor, and when they drag this net floor, it uproot the sea plants, sea water, sea habitat of the fishing and everything, and it totally destroy the ecosystem after the trawling. Okay, so it causes resource depletion, it damages the seafloor integrity, habitat, it changes the balance of the species, it disrupts the biogeochemical cycle, and it reduces the carbon sequestration rate also. Okay, now for the implementation of the scheme, it was planned to have 500 boats to be built in first year 2017-18, and each unit should cost around rupees 80 lakhs. Then 50% of the money will be borne by the center, and 20% by the state government, 10% by the beneficiary itself, and the remaining 20% should come from the institutional finance. So this is the financial, this is the implementation mechanism for all this. Okay, so what are the obligation to the beneficiary under deep sea? Like what are the obligation that has been put over there? So under the obligation of the beneficiary, the deep sea fishing plan is to remove many trawl vessel from the parkway. This is one of the main objective of this whole scheme, that we wanted to remove the trawl vessels which are being doing the trawling, that is seafloor trawling that they are doing. Okay, then potential beneficiary of the deep sea fishing project should possess a registered seaworthy trawl vessel of over 12 meter in length that must be scrapped or disposed of outside the parkway. That means if you wanted to be the beneficiary, then your trawl, which has to be 12 meter in length, has to be scrapped or disposed of outside the parkway. That means to not be the part of parkway. Okay, so the disposed vessel should also have been physically verified that yes, you have disposed that vessel. Then equally important, new replacement tuna long liner boat cannot trawl or operate in the park. That means once you are taking the new replacement, you cannot trawl on through the park bay, and the beneficiaries are not allowed to sell their boat within the 5 years after obtaining them. Okay, so this is what the obligation has to be there to the beneficiary who will be getting the benefit of this whole scheme. So what is the significance? Obviously this is a remedy to the park bay fishing conflict that is happening. That is what we are taking. And the central government feels that the deep sea fishing is the only solution to promote ecologically sustainable and also to reduce the fishing pressure and also to avoid any kind of conflict that will happen because of the international maritime boundary line. So this is all the things, this is the objective that we are going to achieve. That is, we will be reducing the fishing conflict. We will be it will be ecologically sustainable. Okay, and we will be also reducing the conflict that is happening near the international maritime boundary line. Okay, so this is all about park-based scheme. Now we are moving towards a new type of fund that is called Fisheries and Aquaculture Infrastructure Development Fund, that we call it Fishery and Infrastructure Development Fund, FIDF, a very important fund. So this fishery and infrastructure development fund, here government wanted to encourage the private entrepreneur people in the field of fish farming, creation of fishery infrastructure. Okay, because if you are focusing on achieving 20 million tons of fish production by 2024, so fishery and infrastructure development fund was created, especially with an outlay of 7,522.48 crore rupees. Very important, just you should remember it. And it is for the period of 5 years, 2018-19 to 2022-23. Okay, and how much loan is going to be provided by this? Any project that is coming under the FIDF will be eligible for loan up to 80%. Okay, of the actual project cost. Okay, and there will be interest subvention will be also provided of 3% per annum for the development of identified fishery based infrastructure facilities. Now, this is what the flyer has been released by the government of India, where they wanted to augment the fish production, and the target is 15 million tons by 2020 under Blue Revolution, providing around employment opportunity of 9.4 lakh fishermen and entrepreneurship, and also to attract the private investment. Right. So what will be the beneficiaries' contribution? So beneficiaries are required to contribute at least 20% of the project cost as margin money. Okay. And contribution of margin money in case of state and union territory, state enterprise independent project shall not be mandatory. Now, can we apply under both Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana and Fishery, Aquaculture and Infrastructure Development Fund? No, because subsidies and interest subvention do not go together. For any eligible particular activity, financial assistance can be availed either under PMMY or FIDF, but not under both. So that has to be cleared. Okay. So what are the areas of operation of FIDF scheme? So in all states and union territory, you can work on FIDF scheme. So who all are eligible entities? So entities who are eligible under this loan is state government and union territories, state owned corporation, state government undertaking, sponsored, supported organization, fishery cooperative federation, then fish cooperative, then cooperative, collective group fish farmers, then Panchayati Raj Institute, self-help groups, NGOs, SC/ST, marginal farmer, women entrepreneurs, self-help groups, private companies, entrepreneur, physically disabled, any other institutions, all are being eligible under this whole process. And who is the nodal agency who will be dealing with this fund? It will be National Fishery Development Board of Hyderabad. And who are the nodal loaning entity? That is NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture Rural Development Bank for state and union territory government project, and NCDC, National Cooperative Development Corporation, cooperative sector, either through state government, union territory or direct eligible cooperative society, and scheduled banks for all the private beneficiary and private entrepreneurs. So what is the maximum period of repayment? So 12 years inclusive of moratorium of 2 years of the repayment principal is the maximum period time. And who will be approval of the project? There will be a central approval and monitoring committee that will be there, which will be headed by the Joint Secretary Inland Fishery, who will be the approval of the proposal. Now, what are the eligible investment activities that are to be approved under this fund? Okay, if you are establishing a fishing harbor, okay, if you are establishing a fish landing center, or if you are constructing a ice plant, both marine or inland fishery sector, if you are constructing a cold storage, whether marine or inland fishery, if you are constructing a fish transport facility, marine or inland fishery, if you are constructing an integrated cold chain, marine or inland sector, if you are developing a modern fish market, if you are setting up of a brood bank, if you are setting up of hatcheries development, if you are developing of aquaculture, okay, so, and if you are modernizing any state fish seed farm, if you are making like state establishment of the state of the art fishery and training center, if you are creating fish processing unit, if you are making fish feed mills plant, feed mill up to 4 to 5 ton per day capacity, feed mill plant of minimum 10 tons per day, Then establishment of cage culture in reservoir, introduction of deep sea fishing vessel, or if you are establishing a disease diagnostic laboratories, if you are developing a mariculture, sea cage culture, hatcheries, nursery area, seaweed, bivalve, parallel culture, establishment of aquatic quarantine, any other innovative project activity designed to enhance fish production productivity or value. So all these places you will be eligible for investment activity. So these are all the activities which are all being allowed under that. Okay, then there are certain documentation to be submitted along with the detailed report. Okay, so you have to put a detailed report. In the detailed report you have to tell about the project that you wanted to make, what is your land document, where you are going to make it, then what is the detailed cost estimation as per the schedule rate, then engineering drawings and layouts, quotation for all machinery and equipments, then technical feasibility and economic analysis and viability. These all things have to be provided if you wanted to gather the loan from the Fisheries, Aquaculture and Infrastructure Development Fund. So this is regarding the Fishery, Aquaculture and Development Fund. So this is all for today. I hope guys you all have enjoyed the session. I'll be coming out with the next session. Till then, bye bye, take care and have a good day. Thank you so much. Bye bye.